Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So what we'll do this time is quickly look at this verse 81. I think we had seen up to verse 80 last time. We will go through verse 81 quickly, and then I want to dwell on the presentation which I forwarded. Each of you, will you be able to open the presentation and see it either on your screen or laptop somewhere? Because here screen sharing is not possible.
Only yes, it was opening. It is opening right now.
It is opening now. Kaushik and Sonia probably should have seen earlier, but it will be useful if you can see it. Kaushik, you will be able to see it somewhere on the screen.
I can see it. Should I share it? I'll try and share it.
No. Acha. Sharing I think is not possible. Had it been possible, I would have used it. Sharing, I think.
I can see that. I can
see
the
yes. If you can refer, that should be fine. So
absolutely.
Maybe I will also open it later when I start that. First, we will go through this verse and then we will see the slides. Okay. So the verse goes thus. Mritkaryam sakalam ghatadi satatam mrinmatra mevabhitah tadvat sajjanitam sadatmakam idam sanmatrameva akhilam yasmat nasti satah param kimapi tat satyam sa atma swayam tasmat tattvamasi prashantamamalam brahmadvayam yat param. So all these verses are in the context of Aikya. The Aikya is being stressed and explained in various forms using various illustrations. That's what is happening in the last maybe 7-8 verses. And this line is also, this verse is also on the same lines. So when I read the immediate translation, it is, all that is produced of clay, like the pot, etc., is always nothing but clay all through. Hariom, Minil.
Hariom, sorry.
Hariom. No, that's okay. All that is produced of clay, like the pot, etc., is always nothing but clay all through. We are going through verse 81, Minildi. Similarly, all that is born of Sat, having its being in Sat, is nothing but Sat alone, because there is nothing other than Sat. That Sat is the truth, that is itself the Atma. Therefore, you are that Brahman which is free from modifications and stains and is limitless and non-dual. See, all this Veda Vakya, when they are used in the ultimate sense. When we use the word Sat, so truth, Sat, we just translate it as truth normally. Not only in English, when it is taken in Sanskrit also, normally Sat is Sat Satya. Satya means whatever event is there, you say the same thing. Satya is speaking something what is truth, fact. So that's a meaning which is more like a transactionary, kind of meaning. However, Sat has its ultimate status. So Sat, in that sense, from Upanishad perspective, when we use the word Sat Chit Ananda, that Sat is something which is the only truth. That's what it means actually. That's the only truth. Nityavastu ekam Brahma, tad vyatiriktam sarvam anityam. So, this Brahman is the only Sat that exists. Everything else actually does not exist, though they seemingly exist. So the seeming existence can be the truth of anything other than Brahman as far as the Tat is concerned. However, the Tat alone, Brahman alone, is the only thing that exists. That is basically Sat. So when we hear this statement, Satyameva Jayate, our government has this statement, right? Satyameva Jayate as a statement. I think it comes below our emblem, national emblem. This statement obviously is picked up from the scriptures only. In English, the way it is translated is truth triumphs, right? Triumphs. So most of the time, even when you see in samsara, transactional world, truth ultimately, has to come out. That's what is the nature of truth. It has to always come about actually. So maybe someone can lie about a event or a situation, but when you get into forensics at that level, then it is proven. No, this happened. So and so was there at that particular point in time. So it's just a matter of time that truth has to come out. So truth triumphs is one meaning, that kind of a meaning from a transactional world perspective. But the ultimate meaning is very important. Satyam eva jayate is truth alone, exists basically, lasts longer, because there is nothing else other than truth. This is the reason truth alone lasts longer, and that's one invariable by nature. That is the reason truth alone triumphs. So Satyameva Jayate is because it is the nature of Brahman, not because from a transactional world, one has to be told that this is how it is. The nature of that itself is that only. So the Tat's nature is that, and Atma's nature was also presented the same way, and that's where the Aikya is happening. So the Satya word has to be understood better. So here what it is saying, everything that is produced of clay, like the pot, etc. Here the example taken is clay, and for clay world, though you may have differences, but finally the fundamental thing is the Satya of all this is clay only. The modification is more from what kind of space it occupies and what kind of color maybe it is given. So you get the variety there. There's a white pot, there's a green pot, whatever pot you can see. One with the decoration, one without a decoration, one with this size, one with that size, taller, smaller, shorter. Everything is possible. But the Satya, the common thread, that's a nice word, the common thread amongst all this is clay. The moment you say clay, if you have to imagine clay, then the Satya is only one actually, it's just one. So if you have to for example, you are given a box, you are saying that you are given list of these items, 20 items, and there are two boxes made. So in one box, supposing you are supposed to put anything that is more than 1 feet tall. In another one, everything which is equal to or less than 1 feet height. So you'll have to put it in another box. You will be able to put that, right? You'll be either having everything in one box, or maybe you'll be having a mix of things there actually. But now, if the question is, okay, put anything that is red into one place and blue into another one. Again, you may be able to do it depending on whatever color you see. But now, when you go to the next level, you say everything that is clay, put it in one box. So then what will happen is all these characters, all these boxes what was given, it all will be coming into one box. How? Because you understand that clay is the subject matter of everything, and the person, when he is saying anything made of clay, put it in one place, what is happening actually is you straight away disregard size, shape, color. This is cognitive. You didn't do anything to correct the size, remove the color, and remove any other characteristic that differentiates between one object and the other object, of those clay pots. You didn't do anything. You just knew that you have to disregard color, shape, size. All that you need to do is look at the substance. The word substance is very important. That substance is what we are calling it as Sat. That's what we are calling it as Sat. So, Now when you equate this clay to our Upanishadic teaching, the equivalent here is Chit. Chit is the substance based on which all these so-called parts or jivas, they come about with various attributes, which is what is differentiating between one character to another. That's all. All that Krishna is saying, all that Shruti is saying, all that whatever Acharyas are saying, including Shankaracharya, whose book we are looking at now, whose work we are looking at now, is very simple. Identify yourself as the Chit. And in that understanding, when you want to look at second Chit, it is not there. Because Chit is just Chit, it is one whole, undivided whole. So that is the reason there is no question as to who exists other than Atma. Once the student has understood cognitively that he is that invariable which is beyond all this Panchakosha, the one which objectifies all this Panchakosha, once he understands this Atma to be himself, and that to be in the form of Chit, that is the real witness, then the question comes, yes, if this Atma is, let me repeat that line from Tattva Bodha, Stula Sukshma Karana Sharirad Vyatirikta, the one which stands apart from all this, Panchakoshatita, the one which is apart from all this, San Avasthatraya Sakshi, and also it is the witness of all this Avasthatraya, Swapna Jagrati Sushupti. San Yastishtati Sa Atma, the one which is of this nature is Atma. So it was very clearly presented this way. So here basically the Chit part is Atma. Actually Atma is the witness, the invariable in all states, all situations, and that's where we have arrived at. After you arrive at that, about yourself, about your right identification, the question remains, then who is that Tat? So that's where it is said, you are that ultimate, because the Tat what we started with was with the understanding that that's the only thing that exists. Apart from that, nothing else exists. Now you have got the understanding that you are here as Atma, not as any of these body, minds and complex which is dependent on Atma. Now you have to make the link to this verse. If you take yourself to be pot, you have a problem of color, you have a problem of size, you have a problem of maybe flavor at all, if at all it is there, rose flavor, this flavor, if at all people can make it creatively. You will have the problem of all these things because that's what you identify with. What you identify with, you will live with that idea. You will have all this problem. It's going to be there. But if you identify yourself as clay, then you don't have problems. I mean, in a relative way, I'm saying. Of course, clay is a material, so you can always have attributes in that actually. But this is more for an example. So the clay is equated to the Chit part here actually. So if you identify yourself as Chit, this is what is very important. In that identification, the first thing what we said that Nitya Vastu Vekam Brahma Tad Vitariktam Sarvam Anityam, we kept as a point, and then with the reference point we were making this pursuit and inquiry all this while. Now when we go back to check, now let me check what was that which I kept as an assumption. System says, Shruti says Tattvamasi. It is not something any different from you. Tattvameva asi. So this line is saying that only. All that which is born of the clay, the entire world of clay, all these pots, is only clay. It's not different. It's not different from clay at any point in time. Any point in time, and there is no time distance, and there is no space distance. Both ways. It's all through clay only. It was clay. It is clay. It's going to be clay. Similarly, In our case, we were that Chit, we are that Chit, we will remain as Chit. So this is the understanding which this verse gives. So on these lines only I want to explain the slides what I have made. Hopefully this may give probably a little bit incremental help in terms of understanding this Atma, the Chit as it is, and also as to how we approximate this to all pervasiveness of the Lord, the Tat part of it. So let me also try opening. One minute. Give me just a moment. I'm just accessing that presentation. Okay, so have you got the slides open in front of you? It will be easy when we discuss.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. So we'll go directly to this slide 4. So you can let me know once you have that in front of you. So anyone who still not got slide 4? Everyone has got, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, fine. So I'll continue because it will be easy to see, while I discuss. Okay. So the background with which I made this slide was this way. When I used to listen to this concept of all pervasiveness, I used to always wonder how come what is it meant by all pervasiveness. So normally we think from whatever we see from movies here, there, or whatever we have been told, we think more from this attribute of this Ashtama Siddhi. So in Ashtama Siddhi, we know that one can just walk through a door if he has such kind of siddhis. So normally what we perceive, at least what I perceived, was that all pervasiveness means that someone can, the quality is such that he can just keep walking through anywhere, through anything for that matter. So that's the kind of idea one gets when they listen to this word all pervasiveness. You are completely pervading everything. So that's how we think. That's how mind thinks. If you ask me, I do not know how others perceive it. Maybe it will be nice to ask others also if they also perceive the same way. This word all pervasiveness.
Yes, Pastor. Initially, the doubt used to be that only. When somebody says all pervasive, until I really don't understand. That is the only thing how I perceived, and that's why I had questions that how is it possible?
Understand. So if anyone else has a different perception, we can different understanding about the word all pervasiveness, we can listen to them.
It is the same. I mean, even I was
Same, no?
thinking this.
Okay, fine. Because it will be new for me to know any other view. Actually, that's the reason I thought I should encourage people to talk about it. Okay, so now if all of us have the same understanding, I think then all of us start with the same problem. So in that case, the solution will be useful. Okay. So I used to always think, listening to all Vedanta, I used to always think, okay, it's all fine. Then, but what does this mean? So to me, it was very clear that as you proceed towards Nirguna, it was easy for me to visualize up to the level of space. Out of Panchamaha Bhuta, forget all this world where already forms and other things have come about. When you take the model of Panchamaha Bhuta, the way it is given in Sankhya, which is useful, is first is Brahman, after that, due to Maya, you have space. So that's Vedanta part. And from space, when you go, Akashat Vayuhu, Vayor Agnihi, Agneirapaha, then from that Prithvi. Then Prithivya Roshadibhya and Voshadibhyo Annam. So this comes in Taittiriya Upanishad. So the Panchamaha Bhuta, the order is space, air, fire, water, then earth. So this is how. And you will also see that in each of these, progressively, one extra sense object is getting added. This is how it works. And for example, for space, the equivalent is ears. Space is more with sound actually. So ears, are the corresponding organ for space. So ears, our sense of hearing, is born out of space actually. So in Tattva Bodha, this is all given in details. So similarly, after that, air you have. There, the additional thing what you have is sense of touch. That comes there actually. Akashat Vayu, then Vayor Agnihi. So someone can imagine from air how fire can come. So that's what is given there actually. So it's very simple. Air includes hydrogen and oxygen as well. In whatever quantity it will have, it will be there. Hydrogen is a combustible gas, oxygen supports combustion, so fire definitely can happen there. It's very clear. So air, from air it is Agni, then Agneirapaha. Again, someone can understand. Water means it is something cool. How can this come from Agni? It's something, anyone can think. So for me, it was very simple to understand. Whatever was the ingredient to support and create a fire, hydrogen, oxygen, they are the same necessary ingredients for water as well. So to me, it was very clear, yes, Agneirapaha is possible, simple. And once you have Apaha, from there, everything else is also possible. I just took it that way. Now, when you go back in reverse order, all these things, can be also kind of converted, and you can also say energy level or whatever it is, and you have matter and antimatter, they can resolve, and you have energy and opposite energy, different energy, from a vector perspective. So you can compensate them as well. Then kind of you can come to an absolute space. This is more from an evaluation or extrapolation perspective. So at that level, once you go up to space, where that space is bereft of even air, which is the next immediate Panchabhuta, we are talking about an absolute space. So when I was imagining an absolute space, even during my inquiry of Shastra, I could understand that space is something seamless, It has no khanda, it has no partition, you cannot divide it, and it has no end. I think our imagination probably can end, but our imagination of space can never end actually. As much as you can think about space, that will keep expanding as much as possible. If someone says, I heard this from one of the BARC scientists when I was giving this, when I was discussing these slides. These slides, by the way, I made for presenting Advaita Vedanta to philosophy students of Pune University. This was in November 2011. There were other people also who presented different other things. So there was one gentleman who was from BARC scientist. So when I put a question saying, can we say what is the limit of space? Is space limited or unlimited? So he happened to say that yes, it has limit, because normally when they see space, they see from that astronomy perspective, they say it is oval, it is this, it is that, whatever people mention. See, one thing is very clear: space cannot have shape. And if at all, even astronomers talk about space in that sense, they talk about that in the sense of a boundary being created by all these galaxies again actually. So finally the shape is given by objects. So if someone has to say it's oval, it can only be coming from the understanding that again you are stuck with material thing. So that's where pots, again someone is stuck with pots. From pot thinking, we have to come to pure space thinking. Chit, we will go to it later in the slide. From pot thinking, first let us come to an intermediary understanding of an absolute space. In absolute space itself, I could understand what is all pervasiveness. Now let's dwell on this point, all pervasiveness. Okay, what we need to do is, let me just see, there's another slide which we need to see. 1 minute, I'll show that. Go to slide 5. I wanted to use that example what is written there, and that is what is really useful actually, and then maybe we can even come to the other one. So you all have slide 5 in front of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So let's take 2 examples. In the first example, we are taking object A. You can say pot A. So when pot A moves from point X to point Y. So the reason I am taking movement is because all pervasiveness, we always associated that with movement. So that's the reason I want to take movement as example, because that's where the crux is actually. The removing the not part is very closely there actually. So take object A as an example, and here we are saying point X is a point defined in space, and in between that you have some gaps, and you are again identifying point Y in space. So object A is kind of pushed or whatever from point X to point Y. You consider that to be Vande Bharat going from station Ahmedabad to Mumbai. That is the object we are talking about, for example. Here, what is moving actually? Is space moving or the object moving? Object is moving. And do we agree that the space is a constant and invariable?
Yes.
So I'm just connecting the words which we have used earlier. So space is sthira, and the one which is moving is asthira. Okay, that is moving, space is intact. Now take the example of water. Take the example of a swimming pool. When we swim across from point X to point Y, is water going in and through us or around us?
Around us.
Others also agree?
Yes, Pastorji.
Okay, fine. So when we swim in water, we move from point X to point Y. What is happening there is, you are just pushing the water around and you are trying to move. Now take the first example of Vande Bharat. which moves from Ahmedabad to Mumbai, is it pushing away space to move in space? Just think through this. Take a minute to think. And one can say that yes, it is pushing away air. That is possible. In fact, that's how this entire aviation works. So in aviation, what's happening? The speed is so much that at that speed of rotation, air becomes a tangible object for it. So in swimming, the moment one goes into it, he has to make his movements so fast. Then what we would have done, when he's outside, because outside you don't have that problem, but inside you have the problem of, some hold not being there, so you have to keep on moving. So you have to keep on moving to stay afloat. So over there in aviation, what's happening? It's not using, the friction what is available normally on land. So when it has to lift, it has to use something, no? For example, when you want to scale up a mountain, you use a rope. So you hold on to it and then go. Now aeroplane, anything that is flying, what will it hold on to? There is nothing which is there actually. Not like a lift where, it is taking support of some railings and then going up. It has to only take the support of air. The tattva is air there actually. If air has to be made tangible to a level like it is like the energy of a rope, to that level, then there has to be some tattva which has to go so fast that air becomes a tangible object to it. Only then it will work that way actually. So there it is pushing the air, using that air as the strength and moving there. In this case also, to some extent you can say aerodynamics always works. Air is there everywhere here in the atmosphere. So any object when it moves, it has to push air. That is fine, because as it goes, air has to go around. If air was so strong that it can put a barrier to the object from moving, it will work. That is how I think this high pressure air and all works that way only, right? We have seen that actually. Air is so powerful to an extent that it is also used in appliances like where you can break rocks, you can do many other things actually. So air is so powerful when compressed. So those things are possible. But now coming to space, this train need not do anything to actually push space around. But the point is, space is everywhere. It is there. It is not a non-entity. It is not nothing. It is a thing. It is a thing, but its attribute kind of is that it is all pervasive. This is where I want people to understand, what does all pervasiveness mean. By nature, it can go in and through the things. So again we are using the word go because our mind understands only that way. So because we presupposed and we started this entire idea with the movement. That's the reason I am saying it can go in and through things. When things move in it, it allows a seamless movement. It does not stop anyone anytime, and it doesn't stop anything anytime. This is the precise reason it gets the name Akasha. So in Sanskrit we have this root everywhere, and it's always based on a property that a name or sound comes through. Avakashayati iti Akasha. So Akasha means that which accommodates all. That's the reason it is given this word, this name Akasha. So Akasha is not a simple space, unlike the way in English it is just space. Beyond that there is no meaning, kind of attribute whatever within that. But here it is different. That's what Sanatana is. That's what our Shastra is. That's how Sanskrit is. So Akasha means Avakashayati iti Akasha. It accommodates all. That is Akasha. So in this case where Vande Bharat moves from one point to another point, it need not push away space at all. As it moves, just like any other object, space just goes in and through it. It accommodates movement, it accommodates stillness, it accommodates anything, and it accommodates probably a situation of kind of neutralized matter, neutralized energies. Space kind of is an invariable in this example. So I want people to discuss things around this. Once this is clear, then we will go to the next step. I invite some comments from people on this, because it's very important actually, and it will be nice to listen from others as well. Since this is something which is more to do with understanding, and the next step will be more clear only when this is understood very well, and people should be on the same page. And if there are different opinions, we should have it right away actually. That's when the next step will help. So I'll give a minute for people to dwell, and you can ask, you can say if you have a different understanding. Okay, fine. That's good if it's very clear and there's no ambiguity in what we discussed as far as the first example is concerned. Now, let's take the second example. So in second example, here the tricky point is there. We are taking a living object. So let us take person only. Let us take us as an example, each of us as an example. In this case, what's happening? We have entire Sharira and a consciousness, Chit. So in this thing, which is a kind of a living thing, it's made of two things. One is the life in it, the person in it, which is the Chit actually, Atma, and that body, the vehicle, Vahana, that which is moving from a gross perspective. So these are the two ingredients what we have here. Now, as far as object is concerned, everything that we discussed in the first example stands the same as far as the movement of object part of is concerned. So in our case, it is Chit plus Sharira. So as far as Sharira is concerned, the movement is exactly the same. Space goes in and through the body, and that's how it is working, and that's how space is all pervasive. The moving thing is the Sharira, not space. Now, this is where the tricky point is happening. The next thing is Chit. So basically, we are a conscious being, okay? We are consciousness. So that derivation first has to happen. Moving away from Stula Shukshma Karana Sharira, Vyatirikta Panchakosha, Atita Sannavastatare Sakshi Satchidananda Swarupaha Sanyastishtati Sa Atma. So we have arrived at, as guided by Shastra, that I am giving up the idea of Stula Shukshma Karana Sharira and Panchakosha, and I am looking at myself as the Avasthatraya Sakshi, and I have also understood that I am the only Sat, and I am of the nature of Chit, and I am Ananda, which is Swarupa Ananda, or I am Ananta, an endless thing. I don't have a time limitation, neither a space limitation. So, Satchidananda Swarupa Sanyastishtati Sa Atma. That Atma I am. This we have arrived. If not arrived, we have to dwell on that. That's where the inquiry is. So, bring our understanding and our identification to Atma first, which is Satchidananda. Their Chit is the main thing. Sat is saying that it exists, that's the only truth. So it's also more from a time perspective and space perspective, you can say. Ananda is, that's where we started actually. We started with Dukkha. Sometimes when it happens, we don't like it. That's where we want to have Parama Ananda. We don't want Dukkha at all. That's where we started. So that Ananda has to be mentioned there. That's why Ananda. But who are we? We are available as Chit right away. That Chit part one has to hold on to. So this consciousness, what I'm saying, is basically Chit, and the English word kind of approximation is consciousness. So what is happening to consciousness when it is moving from point X to point Y? This is what I want people to think. Just take a minute, imagine whatever you can imagine. Okay, so when we move, we said that as far as the Shariratraya is concerned, the same thing which was applicable to object is also applicable at this point in time. So this object moves in space, which is invariable, and that space is unlimited, indivisible, all pervasive. So that idea is very clear, and that's experience. For this you don't need to have even knowledge. Straight away you walk across, space doesn't stop you anywhere, it goes in and through you. Unlike water and air is direct experience. You don't have to have Shastra also for that. It's a direct experience. Luckily we have the direct experience this way. As far as this Chit is concerned, Mr. X was conscious at point X. If we take it as a pixel, you can't do that pixel also. Chit is of such a nature. It is the biggest and the smallest. So you can't make any size out of Chit. Okay. So, Mr. X, when he was traveling, he was conscious at point X. And we are using the word conscious because that's how we understand normally. Unconscious, conscious, that way. Okay. But his consciousness, that one has to understand. But we will use the word conscious because that's how it's easy to understand from a common parlance. So he was conscious at point X, and we have given a gap there because for movement we wanted a gap to be there. That's when movement happens. And he is moved to point Y. A person starting from Ahmedabad, traveling in Vande Bharat. Now Vande Bharat part is gone. The Chit part, the person part is taken care. In that person part also, the vehicle which is Shariratraya is all given up as an identity. His identity as Atma, as Chit is taken up. Now we are understanding Chit was there in Ahmedabad. Chit is there in Mumbai after 6 hours. The same person, awareness is exactly the same. I want people to tell me if they have ever felt different in terms of their awareness in their experience anytime from being in point 1 to point 2 when they have moved. It's a different thing that, point 1 can be desert, point 2 can be, Himalayas. So you have a different feel of things around you. We are not talking about that because we are withdrawn as ourselves from the world, from our Shariratraya also, and we are talking from a Chit level, which is just awareness, pure awareness. We are asking that pure awareness and give the answer of that pure awareness. Has your awareness been any quantum different when you have moved from place X to place Y? If at all someone feels different, I would like to know. And of course, if no one feels any change in awareness, I want to have that information also. Since I am seeing the screen, I won't know whether people are here or not.
So after this, right? According to me, it is same whether it's point A or point B.
Yeah, it is the same. Yeah.
Correct, na? So one thing, all of us, we have seen one thing actually. We have worked in company A, and we go to company B. In company A, we had set of problems. So these problems were perceived by an indweller. Okay, this guy goes to place B. So eventually he discovers similar problem there. So that person is the same actually, if you ask me. So, but then that is more from a mental level, you can say. So whatever he is, he continues there also. There is no big change. Of course, from a mind perspective, it can always be, taught to be a little bit more mature. Changes can happen in mind because that is still matter. But we are talking about space and consciousness. Space itself, it has got no change. And more so, as awareness, it is just Chit. It is available everywhere. It is available to see anything that comes across. It is just there. It just blesses. It just gives input of what is happening. Actually, that's all. That's the one who's taking all the signals finally. But then that is not Sharira. That's the only thing that can know, which is knowledge. So Chit exactly is the same. Now what you need to do, we analyzed point X and point Y. In the first example, we said space is intact in point X, space is intact in point Y, while the material was moving, it was intact in all the place as well. In all those points, whatever points you can define, it was there intact in all the place. Now when you come to consciousness, we were there as awareness in point X, we are there as awareness in point Y, in time Y, you can say. Time also you can take it as different. In between, what happened to awareness? Was it any different during the entire journey, whether you sleep or whatever? Sushupti itself, we say that awareness is intact. Even if you happen to sleep or if you happen to eat, all those things what is given in Vande Bharat, what happens to awareness during this period from point A to point B? Think over that. Did anything change to awareness in terms of...
Not exactly.
So basically, just like the space, that space is in us, outside of us. This body which has got a boundary, a defined boundary, was moving in this space. Similarly, when we are, and that is indivisible, it is one entity. Now we have to understand this Chit. When we say it is one entity, it is inside as well as outside. That's the only thing. The moment you understand yourself as Chit, job is done, because when you understand space, it is one space. Understanding space here is equal to understanding space where Jupiter is, or whatever Centauri you call it. That space is, or anything beyond, or anything you can imagine, to the power of 100 and to the power of 100 to the power of million, 10 to the power of whatever you can. Any imagination is that space. So we get the understanding that the space here, which you can see, or where you are exactly, and the space, any other space which you can imagine, is one. It has no khanda at all. It is akhanda. Similarly, you have to understand this. You are that Chit. That Chit is inside as well as outside. Our boundary of skin cannot restrict Chit, as much as a pot cannot restrict space. Space accommodates pot. Pot cannot restrict space, because space is the boss. Similarly, in our case, Chit, yes, this Jiva can use but cannot own it. Jiva, in the sense, when I am saying Jiva, it is more to do with the confused guy. But as Chit, when you arrive at yourself as Atma, giving away the understanding of all the Shariratraya and everything, there you are available as pure Chit, just like the pure space I was mentioning. When you understand yourself to be the pure Chit, there you obtain yourself, and every world, the entire world is gone, because you are that Chit which is here as well as anywhere, what you can call it. Again, we should use the word here, there, where, everywhere, because of mind, because we still use mind only for the inquiry. In that language only mind can think, But over a period, mind will drop its wrong understandings in that akhanda vritti. So everything is thought modification. Thought modification is called vritti. So akhanda vritti, what is the akhanda vritti? When you understand yourself to be that chit, the pure Atma, and it is where you are, and it is outside of where you are. There is nothing called outside, but from the sense of mind and sense organs, anything which you can see from this side is outside for us actually. So you can say anything outside the skin 360 degrees is outside for us. So that way, when you understand, Chit was there already in Mumbai even when you started from Ahmedabad. Space was already there available in Mumbai even when you started from Ahmedabad. Space which was available in Mumbai was being used by Vande Bharat when it arrived to Mumbai. Similarly, this jiva, this mind, using that space which is available in, with that consciousness which is available in Mumbai, which was available in Mumbai as well when it started its journey from Ahmedabad. Consciousness was available intact in Ahmedabad. Consciousness was also available intact in Mumbai. When it arrived, consciousness is available in Mumbai. It understands, that's all. So basically, mind, this entire sharira, goes about using whatever is available. It is thriving because of the space and elements. And beyond all these things, for it to really understand, if at all there is something cognition, that cognitive ability is that chit. And it uses all this, it just moves using this all the time. Collecting the food which is served there, eat, survive, look at here and there, remove boredom, survive. And when you see good things for a longer time, again you have boredom, sleep, again get up, take one more tea, you arrive at Mumbai. All this while, the invariable witness is you, that consciousness is you, that had no change absolutely whatsoever, right from starting to end, and every point, if you can imagine, in between. You are that. Tat Tvamasi. In that understanding of you, you cannot have anything second to you, because here the tricky point. This is the IKEA part which I use. In the first example, the understanding was that space is all pervasive, space is indivisible whole, one unit. Now when you understand your awareness to be everywhere, now you can't have two things being everywhere. Only one thing can be everywhere now. So when you are given a choice to say, are you everywhere or is space everywhere? The natural answer is, the only guy who is cognitive is Chit. Space is Jada. Space is Jada. Chit is the only thing which is the necessary ingredient for knowledge. So entire Sharira uses Chit to be able to even convey Shastra. Chit is the main thing which exists, that is consciousness, that is pure knowledge, and this is what exists everywhere and not space. So take one example, just like the way we say, when we cook rice, you have 1 million grains probably in that. When you have to check whether it is cooked, one cannot eat everything and say, abhi ye cook ho gaya. Then after that you can't serve and serve to anyone else actually. You take one grain from that and then either squeeze it or eat and see, say okay fine, it's cooked. So the moment you see one, you approximate the solution to all other grains in that pot. Similarly, you have to take the example of that pixel of space where you are, and then we understood that yes, that space is equal to the outside space and there is no difference. So space outside and inside is just one. Again, that pixel where you took space as an example, now you have to understand you were the one who created that pixel and kind of objectified that space. You are the one. That is Chit. That Chit is required even to witness and take that example of that one grain of space. Now you were there and you created space for space. even while taking this example. So basically, in your understanding of Chit being present in your awareness, as Chit, in your presence, space is not there because you are there, you were there. So, first statement before this understanding was that, yes, I have space here and it is also outside. This is indivisible, all pervasive. Now when you take into your account, into your account as Chit, then the statement would be, yes, I am that Chit, which is everywhere from the sense of mind actually. And since it is everywhere and it is Akhanda, it is one indivisible unit, anything other than me does not exist, including space. This is the understanding. This is the understanding, and this is the closest I can get in terms of explaining Atma Vidya, self-realization, in terms of Aikya. This is the closest I can get to actually. This is very, very important. I know it's different from, like basically this example can kind of improve upon what is mentioned in Shastra and Vivekachudhamani thus far. Just give me a moment. I have to just bring in a charger. I'm losing charge. Give me just one. So that's where that's where that Aikya happens. So when you understand yourself and approximate to that, actually saying, okay, I understood that there is space and that is one thing, indivisible, it's all pervasive. But now when I know that I am there, obviously there is no space for space. No, it is me actually. So basically what is happening? A tattva of space itself is coming out of me. So when I do not know myself, that's where space has space. In my awareness, I am there. Apart from me, nothing else is there. And you have to understand this point. This is where, I understood the jargon of Brahman, which is everything, consciousness, plus Maya is equal to space. I was wondering how space can come about from nothing, from how it can come about. It's very clear. It is not coming out of nothing. It is coming out of everything. That is consciousness. It is not coming out of nothing. Space comes out of everything. A thing that is Akhanda, everything, has to also come from something which is even better than that. So, from something where this everythingness comes, has to be also everything only, no? That thing also be everything. Yes, consciousness is everything and you are that consciousness. And something which comes next has to be a little bit lesser in attribute than the first thing. Yes. What is the difference? Chit. So, all knowing is not available in space. But it has the other two ingredients. All powerful and omnipresence. That all pervasiveness is omnipresence. Omnipresence and omnipotence. That it is there while it is coming about. But in consciousness, omniscience is the added thing. So that Chit is science basically actually. Science is basically that only to know. Science means that only. So omniscience is the main thing. That is what one is. We are that Chit. So Vivekachudhamani, everywhere it is saying, understand yourself to be that Chit. Job is done because that Chit is only one thing. So this is the reason we say Atma Vidya, knowing oneself. So knowing the true nature of oneself. The moment you know this, in this understanding, you obtain yourself as the only thing, Advaita, without a second. It's already time. there is one example which I can give actually. If you have time, we can dwell into it. Otherwise, we can push it for a different time. We can take questions today. I'll go by the view of people here.
Yeah, you can give the example, Bhaskar.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go to
Yes, sir.
go to this another slide. This is this is a modern example. Go to slide 6. In this, on the leftmost side, this is the best example that's possible, at least from my side. Anyone who is making this slide will always say that's the best example. That's a different thing. Okay. Are you seeing the slide where you have this mobile signal and other stuff here?
Yes.
Okay. So see, if you see now that on the left side corner on top side you have this one square which is put there. Let's understand that's the whole space, kind of, and we are saying that in that the mobile signals which are around. Let's take the example of mobile handset signal, that tattva. Let us say take this example. You have mobile signals. In that, you have a concept of SIM card, and you have a concept of mobile instrument, and you have something called subscribership. So basically, I am equating this mobile instrument to our gross body. Okay, and the SIM card to be our subtle body, and the subscriber account to be our causal body. So I am using this as Shariratraya model. Okay, in subtlety, each of them have a better pervasiveness than the other one. Okay, so let us examine this. Now, if like each of us, we have a body. If I am, for example, Nokia, some number, Nokia 37 model, for example. If I identify myself with this Nokia 37 model, I had it actually, because in any case, from the time you buy anything for that matter, it only starts depreciating. Whether it is from the point of material thing or from the point of technological obsolescence, it only starts depreciating. Nothing appreciates actually from a material perspective normally. Gold value can be appreciating because that is the value given by human beings. That's the reason it appreciates. Okay. So if you identify with your gross body, you are stuck, because you will keep on saying, oh, I am of this complexion. That complexion will remain same forever. Though some chemical companies can try to fool you by changing it in between. And after 20 years, you come to know that was detrimental to your skin. And then the doctor will say that you should not have used. By that time, but anyway, time is gone and 20 years is already gone. And you will be having some more chemicals to undo those effects of the previous chemicals. This is what happens. So when one is stuck with the body identification, these are the limitations. Immediately you can say, oh God, the BlackBerry is even better than me. Oh, iPhone, come on, these guys they look down upon me actually, and I feel so bad, life is miserable. God, make me an iPhone in my next Janma. This is with the understanding. So this is gross body. Now, when you come to SIM card, the subtle body is mind actually, kind of, which can survive. So here, that's how Ashtama Siddhi and all works. So a SIM card is something, if you identify yourself with a SIM card and not the gross body, you have a chance at least. TK bhai, today we are in this body, that's okay. Tomorrow the same SIM card can be used in another BlackBerry or iPhone also. So let's wait for the chance. So you have a little bit of pervasiveness when you identify yourself with a subtle body. Now, causal body is the next thing. See, you may destroy the gross body, you may destroy the subtle body, but you have to pay up actually. If you have an account you have been using, there is 1,000 rupee balance or 10,000 rupee balance. By destroying the mobile, you cannot avoid the bill. You cannot close the account. By destroying the SIM card, you can't close the account. How do we close the account? You better pay. Because there is something called a subscriber account. And these guys, they have a receivables department. And the department will keep on coming and haunting you. Actually, boss, you pay up. That receivable guy only is Chitragupta for us. He keeps an account of whatever mischief we did and also good things we did. And he says, boss, you have to get this discount. please get it, take the money and then close the account. I will not close the account otherwise. You will see that way also. You can't close a bank account without taking the money out completely. Otherwise, they'll have to transfer it to some here and there, somewhere they have to find a way to settle it. So normally, whether it is plus or minus, that person who was responsible for that has to get that benefit or suffer that limitation. Only then the account can be closed. Only when the account is closed, the problem can be solved. That's where the Karana Sharira is very important. Karana Sharira is the one which accumulates all karma. It keeps every karma in that. That karma looks for another body to fructify later. And obviously you have Virat, you have Mahat, whatever, which takes care of this administration. ठीक है, ये बंदे को अभी एक frog बना दो. बहुत उछल रहा था, तो अभी उछले और बैठ के उछलेगा उधर. Frog बना दो. Whatever happens there actually. So this account is equal to that Karana Sharira, and that's what actually prompts another birth. So I'm just giving this Sharira Traya. This is the model. But if you see one particular thing which can entirely switch off this entire thing, and one particular tattva on which the entire thing is based, that is actually beyond all these things, but yet within these things only, that's where this point of Chit comes. Okay, that is equal to Chit. Basically, all these things, whether it is a subscriber account or SIM card or this mobile conversations, they work in the concept of based on the concept of the signals, mobile signals. And if you are identifying with mobile signals, then you are definitely everywhere actually. So little bit of approximation to space and beyond that to Chit. So that's where you have to understand mobile signals. Are they outside of the mobile or inside the mobile?
Everywhere.
It is outside as well as inside. So when this mobile is moving with the SIM card inside or whatever it is, with the active subscription, when the mobile is moving, so are the signals restricted anywhere in their presence, in their availability? Signals, normally it's a different thing. We keep saying signals are not there. I mean, let's understand that, okay, it's available all the time. So signal, there is no restriction, it is always available. Mobile is that which uses the signal, gives a feeling as though it is doing so many things, but then the signals are the important thing. The coding in terms of the encryption or whatever is in the signals actually. The signal is the main thing actually. And that is not stuck inside the mobile. It is a tattva which is inside as well as outside the mobile, in and through the mobile, through that body as well, everything. It just pervades everything through until inside that mobile. We can't see that, but we can cognitively understand that. Similarly, the only difference between the mobile signals and the Chit is that we can understand ourselves as a first-hand person, as a first-hand information as Chit. First-hand information, yes, we are the Chit. Are you that awareness? Are you an aware, being that is aware? Yes. That is the answer. So that witness you are, you have been always seeing this witness. You know when the coffee was cold, you had it. When the coffee was hot, you had it. That witness was always there. You know when the mind was dreaming. You know when the mind was resolved and there was no dream. You know both the situations. That invariable you are. So you are that invariable who is present everywhere. Everywhere in the sense again from mind perspective. So you are there in that entire square, you are available. The only problem is when you get stuck to one point of consciousness within the SIM card and within this mobile, that is where the problem starts. That is where the problem starts with wrong identification, and you will be comparing yourself with the BlackBerry, iPhone, Samsung phone, every phone. This is where the problem is. The moment you understand you are that signal which is here as well as everywhere, on which everything depends, the entire world of mobile and connections, connectivity, mobile tower, everything depends on one tattva, that is mobile signal. Similarly, this entire world comes out of this one tattva, that is consciousness. When you do not know you are that consciousness and that is akhanda, you see space. Because you are given to the default understanding of five senses, and sense objects greatly play and they entertain these five senses. When we are oblivious of our awareness as chit. This is what one has to understand. And if you ask me, this entire Vivekachudhamani, entire Upanishad, whatever is there, actually I can replace it by only these slides. Crux is only this much. But of course, when I have spoken about this with others as well, yes, they can understand a little bit, but it's not probably so easy also to understand. That's what I've seen with people, couple of people when you have discussed this. So it always makes sense to go through the model of Vivekachudhamani, understand Panchakosha, this, that, all these things, have some kind of an idea, and then come to this to probably have this more like a concluding stuff. So this is what I wanted to share today. And Brahma Vidya is not that difficult. Atma Vidya is not at all difficult. These are there within these slides itself actually. If someone really kind of just inquires properly, they can crack it within 1 hour also. So I want to make it simple actually. It's not a very difficult thing at all. It's very, very simple. Just know yourself. You understand that you are that akhanda vastu which is everywhere. Again, the word everywhere unfortunately has to be used because that's where we start from. That's the reason we have to use. That's the only thing. This is why the word Advaita. Second thing is not there. So where is there to discuss? There is no student also. Second thing is not there. So that's why the word Advaita. Good. So I want to share this, and I'm happy I could share this today.
Thank you for the illustration, Bhaskar sir. It was really, really useful.
Most welcome. Most welcome. Fine. I'll give a minute for anyone to tell something. Then we can chant Purnamada. I'll just give a minute. And in any case, you can text me later also, one-to-one also, if you want some more. If you have some more doubts on these slides, I'll be happy to take people through. Okay, we'll chant Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Have a nice Diwali, all of you.
Happy Diwali, sir.
Happy Diwali, sir.
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali, everyone.
Happy Diwali, everyone. Yes. Thank you.
Hari
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy Diwali, Master.
Hari Om.